A grand entrance for Dr. Young.
Good evening. If you'll indulge me for a minute, I have to play two roles tonight. Unfortunately, our executive director, Mary Burke, became quite ill, lost her voice, and felt like you wouldn't appreciate it if she played a petri dish around here. So I have to play her role here tonight as well. So here we go. Good evening. I'm Mary Burke, executive director of Science Academy of Science. Thanks for coming to the induction ceremony for our new Academy of Science Fellows. The building we're in here is called the Paula Young Building. It's named for one of our new fellows being inducted tonight. This beautiful building is home of the St. Louis University Medical School Practical Anatomy Workshop. The technology you see here and the labs you'll have a chance to tour later produce innovative medical health and science workshops for high school students, college students, and medical professionals worldwide. They were one of the first to do distance learning more than 25 years ago, and one of the first to do 3D visual medical videos. Thanks to St. Louis University for letting us, for hosting us tonight. This is a new venue for us. In particular, I want to thank Daniel Tolbert, Karen Hutzel, John Fitzgerald, and Lisa Suggs. Everybody associated with the university, just stand up. Anybody? And now I need to introduce Benjamin Halsey, the president of the Academy of Science. Good evening, thanks for coming. Welcome to you all. This is kind of a fun event for me. It's the first time since I've been president of the Academy that I've been able to do an induction for new fellows. The fellows, as you know, are an elite group of scientists and researchers combined of physicists, botanists, physicians, lawyers. Okay, there are no lawyers, but I know. But you know, we're young into the second century of the Academy. I mean, I'm the first lawyer to be president of the Academy in 155 years, so give us a chance. Actually, there are 152 fellows of the Academy, all of which we're quite proud of. Rarely is there a stretch of time when at least one St. Louis Academy fellow is not in the news. For example, this week, Bill Sly from St. Louis University, a longtime university trustee, was presented with the Association of the American Medical College Award for Distinguished Research in Biomedical Science. And also David Holtzman, one of our new inductees from WashU, was recognized in Science Daily for groundbreaking research in understanding cerebral palsy. As we honor this amazing group of scientists, it's appropriate that we have another amazing scientist, their presenter. My longtime friend Peter Raven, recognized as one of the heroes of the planet. As we all know, he's the president emeritus of the Missouri Botanical Garden. He's one of the world's leading botanists and advocates of conservation and biodiversity. In addition, he's past president and chairman of the board of the American Association for the Advancement of Science, the largest group of professional scientists. He's chair of the National Geographic Society Committee for Research and Exploration. He's chair for the Division of the Earth of Life Studies with the National Research Council. In fact, is there a single scientific organization you're not affiliated with? That's a secret. No, I think the answer is no. For 3 decades, as you know, he headed the Missouri Botanical Garden, and during that time, he became a world-renowned botanical research, education, and horticultural display facility. It became, during that time, a leader in botanical research in Latin America, Africa, Asia, and has substantial programs in North America. There are more than 100,000 students and educators that go through their programs each year. There are more than 750,000 visitors that go to the physical garden in South City each year. Dr. Raven was described by Time Magazine as a hero for the planet. He's got all kinds of awards. I've got a long list here, and if I read them all, we'd be here all night. We're really here to one of these guys rather than to hear his awards. I am pleased to say he's a 2-decade member of the board of the St. Louis Academy of Science. In fact, it was his idea to form the St. Louis Academy Fellows, and to start the Outstanding St. Louis Science Awards. Please help me welcome my friend, Peter Raven.
Well, Ben, if you want to go on praising me, I'll be glad to add some of my time to yours. Thank you very much. It's really a great pleasure to be here at this beautiful facility, and I also would like to welcome Dr. Paul Young, for whom it's named. They do a wonderful job of training people here, which is a very, very good thing if you need the services of those trained here. There's probably no facility anywhere in the United States that deals better with anatomy, the fundamentals that are so important to medicine. I'd like to thank Mary Bird for that kind introduction. I'm sure you'll all join me in sending her our very best wishes for a speedy recovery. I know that must be very exasperating to her because of all the work she put into this. I'm very pleased at the progress of the St. Louis Academy of Sciences. You know that real foundations of this organization go back to the formation of the Western Academy of Natural Sciences in St. Louis in the 1830s. In a way, the whole development here is a counterpoint to the establishment of the Academy of Natural Sciences in Philadelphia, which is one of the most distinguished scientific organizations in the country, with, by the way, a very good history about to come out, telling about their development and the squabbles between Audubon and various other people at the Academy, the machinations and the politics about getting in. And I must say that one of the distinguishing characteristics of our Academy is that our fellows do not squabble to get in. It just happens naturally because of their excellence and wonderful scientific careers. This great group, Mary Bird, I want particularly to salute. I want particularly to salute because she's done such a singular job of organizing classes for children and adults and people going out and lecturing about science, the science fair, the junior academy, the BioBlitz, and so many activities that are so important to our community. If you think about the fact that St. Louis's future development is really practically dependent on science and technology and on the companies that may start up here relating to the wonderful programs that we have in our universities, then you realize what an important organization the St. Louis Academy of Science is in giving the members of our community of all ages an introduction to science. To give you an idea of why this is important, just let me go over 2 areas with you. One is global climate change, and the other is evolution. The scientific community has no real doubt about either of these, but I can say that as of now, from 2008 in the 3 years to 2011 now, the 71% of the people who thought the climate was warming in 2008 are now 64%. The 10% in 2008 who thought that it's not warming, that's all wrong, has now risen to 17%. The 57% who thought in 2008 that global warming was caused by human activities has shrunk to 47%. The 32% who thought that it's not related to human activities in 2008 has gone up to 35%. In 2008, 47% of the people polled, a sample of 1,000 to 2,000 people with an error of plus or minus 2%, 47% thought that most scientists believed that global warming was happening, and now 39% believe that most scientists think that global warming is happening. 33% of the people in 2008 thought that there's lots of disagreement among scientists, and that's now gone up to 40%. That's all pretty embarrassing and pretty discouraging when you figure that the United States is the only country in the world that has a body of people who do not accept the scientific consensus that global warming is going on, that climate change is going on, and that human beings are the major factor involved in it. A scientist within the last year asked, "Do you believe in global warming?" said, "No, I reserve belief for important things like religion. Regarding global warming, this is a scientific consensus based on the activities of thousands of scientists throughout the world, publishing their findings in scientific journals, having them peer-reviewed, and sharpening their observations from year to year. So while the situation has sadly deteriorated intellectually in the United States in the last 3 years, the evidence has actually gone up substantially in the last 3 years that it's a factual interpretation of what the phenomena that scientists are examining. The climate is projected by the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change to rise from 2 to 11.5 degrees Fahrenheit on the average worldwide by the end of the century. And that will clearly have serious effects on ecosystems, water resources, low-latitude agriculture, coasts, ocean acidification, and offer an increased risk of abrupt or irreversible change. To give you an idea of what some of the people in other parts of the world see happening, Vietnam, the government projects that 1/3 of all the farmland will be lost during the remainder of this century, and they're taking steps to figure out how to deal with that. And China calculates that 30% of its 3 major coastal industrial zones will be lost during the course of this century and are taking steps to replace them further inland and at higher elevations. In 1895, the Swedish chemist Arrhenius first pointed out that if human beings were putting in gases into the atmosphere that would trap heat under them, so to speak, trap heat in them and under the atmosphere, that it would result inevitably in warming. And that's really a physically obvious fact. In 1991, Stefan Schmidheim, a Swiss industrialist who founded the World Business Council for Sustainable Development in the build-up to the Rio Summit in 1992, said in an op-ed piece in the New York Times, America can give no greater gift to European and Japanese industry than to go on pretending that global warming does not exist. While you're doing that, we'll be making the inventions that you'll be buying from us later at a high cost. You're actually putting yourself in the same position that you did in the early 1970s when you wisely concluded that compact, well-built Japanese cars had no place in the American market. That was 20 years ago, and look where we are now. We're the only country in the world that has a group of people who do not accept the scientific consensus about global climate change. Now, what about evolution? Public opinion on evolution has stayed steady for about 20 years. About 38% of Americans believe that humans evolved with God guiding their evolution. 9% of Americans 20 years ago and 16% now believe that humans evolved without God guiding the process. 44% 20 years ago, down to 40% now. 40% of Americans believe that God created humans in their present form within the past 10,000 years. 44% of all Americans. And if you look at that by level of education, that's 22% of people with postgraduate studies, obviously in places other than St. Louis University, Washington University, and so forth. 22% who've had postgraduate studies believe that God created human beings beings within the past 10,000 years exactly as they are. And for those with high school or less education, it goes up to 47%. Now, on the other hand, 97% of scientists believe that humans evolved, against 60% of the general public. 31% of teachers in our public school systems report that they're pressured to give creation as a credible alternative view to evolution. Biological evolution, as we all know, is the central organizing principle of modern biology. And one of the things that people forget is that, indeed modern science, one of the things that people forget is that 100 years and more before Darwin, mostly everybody who thought about it accepted the idea of evolution. It seemed perfectly obvious that there was a progression on Earth from simple to complex. And what Darwin did was come up with an explanation of why or how that happened. Now, at the present time, and another thing I might mention is that not only is all physical and paleontological evidence consistent with that, but all molecular observations have been consistent with that. We now have tens of millions of observations of genomes of organisms since the age of molecular biology was launched, and every single one of them is consistent with the theory of evolution. But then 40% of us believe that God created human beings exactly as we are within the past 10,000 years. That's not a very good thing for the United States. Turkey is the only country in the world that has a lower percentage of people who do not understand the scientific consensus about evolution. How can the United States be a world leader in science and technology when nobody in India or China or any of the other places that are turning out reams of scientists and engineers agrees with any of these fantasies that are so popular here? I'm a member of the Pontifical Academy of Sciences, which is a body of 80 people, including about 30 Nobel Prize winners, that advises the Pope about matters of science and technology, and I can assure you that the Catholic Church has no problem whatever with biological evolution. And indeed, those who thought about it carefully, when our colleague Francis Collins is a good example, who's an evangelical Christian, understand that the Creator could much more logically have worked through a process that the Creator set in motion rather than creating all 2 million of the beetles in the canopy of the rainforest of South America individually, presumably as portrayed on the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel. If the U.S. is going to be so anti-intellectual, our future doesn't look so good to me. How can we go on turning out Nobel Prize winners and knowledgeable people if we turn our backs on scientific evidence? It boggles the imagination, and I just wonder how long it can go on. The public in the United States all too often believes that all opinions are equal, but all opinions are not equal in science. You can't just jump up like a Rush Limbaugh and say, oh, I don't believe in evolution, or global climate change is all a conspiracy. Can you imagine scientists engaging in a conspiracy when they're all trying to stab one another in the back simultaneously? How could they possibly think that thousands of scientists all over the world are engaged in a major conspiracy to prove that the climate is changing so they can get salubrious grants from their relative governments? It is really a fantasy. You know, science doesn't tell us that we shouldn't jump off a 30-story building. Science just tells us what's likely to happen if we do jump off a 30-story building. In the same way, climate change science does not tell us what we have to do economically, but it would be an awfully good idea for our politicians and government leaders and others to say, this is the scientific consensus, and then say this on political, economic, and other grounds is what we can afford to do about it now. That might be little or it might be a lot, but when you begin distorting the facts to license your activities, you're really putting yourself and the future of the country and your children into serious danger, and it's very hard to avoid that connection. Think cigarette manufacturers convincing everyone that doctors like to smoke Camels because they make them feel better. Educating people is what the St. Louis Academy of Sciences is about. It started as a fellowship in the middle of the 19th century. It consolidated itself in the present form in 1856, just at a time when the country was consolidating its own views, its institutions, and its economy. A surge that began then and then really produced the wealth and preeminence of the country after the conclusion of the Civil War. Now, we depend on knowledge. In St. Louis, we especially depend on knowledge. And because of that, I submit to you, and I congratulate those of you who are joining us now, for trying to help us be rational human beings, to deal with the modern world on the basis of what we really know and what we have. I congratulate the Academy of Science for its progress in doing that, and I know that everyone here will work as hard as they can to advance those causes in the future. This is a terrific group of people, and it's a great pleasure to be able to offer these few remarks to highlight the proceedings tonight. Nothing, of course, could highlight them as much as the reception of our new fellows, and I now turn the chair back to Mary Bird to continue with the proceedings.
Next, I'm going to ask Peggy Nacky to name the names of each of the awardees who are here tonight. And if you'll come up, I'd like to present you with a medal. Peter will join you.
Thank you, everyone, and welcome. The Academy of Science is so proud to induct a new class of fellows. And so many of you have supported all of the Academy initiatives, from judging our science fairs, from sending those emails down through the ranks so that your people will come and judge, to sending scientists to the Bio Blitz, to welcoming us to the Eads program here with our junior academy students. So I'd like to start by naming, it's a roll call of the fellows. Ramesh Agrawal, PhD, Washington University Department of Aerospace and Mechanical Engineering, 2009 James Eads awardee. Congratulations. James Carrington, PhD, Donald Danforth Plant Science Center, member, National Academy of Science. Congratulations. Dwayne Grangenet, MD, St. Louis University of Medicine, Institute of Molecular Virology, 2011 Fellows awardee. Congratulations. David Holtzman, MD, Washington University School of Medicine, Department of Neurology, member, National Academy of Science. Heidi Hope, PhD, Confluence Life Sciences, 2010 Trustee Award. Washington University School of Medicine, Molecular Microbiology and Center for Women's Infectious Disease Research, member, National Academy of Science. Fellows Award. Charles Kilo, PhD. Kilo Diabetes and Vascular Research Foundation, 2008 Leadership Awardee. Congratulations. Tony Kuchen, PhD. Donald Danforth, Plant Science Center, Medicinal Plant Genomics, 2011 Fellows Awardee. Paul Markovich, PhD, Washington University Institute for School Partnership, 2008 Trustee Awardee. Stephen Padgett, PhD, Monsanto Research and Development Investment Strategy, 2010 Fellows Awardee. Edagundar Panyasamy, PhD, Sigma Aldrich, 2011 James Eads Awardee. David Van Essen, MD, Washington University School of Medicine, Neurobiology and Anatomy, 2007 Peter Rabin Lifetime Achievement Awardee. Paul Young, PhD, St. Louis University Medical School, Chairman Emeritus for the Center for Anatomical Science and Education, 2008 Trustee Awardee. I'll turn it over to you, Benjamin.
Wow, that almost went too fast. Congratulations to you all. Thanks for all your work. I want to leave it with just three final thoughts. Please consider nominating some scientists for the 2012 Outstanding St. Louis Scientists Awards. Our committee's been formed, headed by David Carr Wilson. They're working with applications now. Please consider nominating someone. Please stay and enjoy some dessert after this. The photographers are willing to take photos, so if you want to have a photo of Peter or Mary or whoever. Finally, the staff here at St. Louis U is offering tours of the labs. Please take advantage of that. You might not get this chance again. Thanks for coming.